User mods are making waves, starting with the white RTX 5080 Founders Edition mod that's setting Reddit on fire. But the news isn't all positive. A repair shop is raising some serious red flags about the RTX 5090's fragile connector. On the software side, Microsoft is trying to reignite the virtual assistant wars with a new AI called Mico. And finally, a Redditor used a legendary Nokia phone to fix GPU sag. You know the drill. Let's get into it. All right, first up, an enthusiast turned a 5080 Founders Edition white, which is sparking debate on whether NVIDIA should make white GPUs officially. Now, NVIDIA won't come out with a white Founders Edition, so this Redditor took matters into their own hands. After seeing a post of somebody modding a 4090, he apparently felt brave enough to do it on a 5080. Now, not everything went according to plan because the RTX LEDs stopped working on the card, which is really unfortunate because it could have added another wow point. These mods run a lot of risk because if you don't know exactly what you're painting or you make one wrong move, you're all the way back to integrated graphics. The final result was a fully functioning 5080 that actually looks pretty sick. I want one, but risking the card with how much attention this thing got, it's clear that NVIDIA is leaving a lot of money on the table by only offering one color. Or are they? Let's take a peek. Boy, would you look at this card. What do we think about this? Now, I'm a big fan of like modifying cards. I like custom backplates, all that fun stuff. I'm a big RGB fan, sue me. But this is sleek for a all white or a white centered PC build. This Redditor managed to make it happen, but there was a little bit of an issue. Let's dig into it. Now, this is a cool looking card. You can tell that they had to do some disassembly to get the painting done and things like that. And it looks like this one is using a white matte Duracoat finish. That was typically used for firearms, by the way, but apparently you can use it on a graphics card too. So that's kind of fun. And when you see the full build that this Redditor cooked up, you can see why he wanted to make this modification. In fact, you can see I've got a Founders card back here in this rig. It's a 5080 as well. It would actually look really cool in this system that I've got set up here in the studio. Look at his build. All white components. You can see the Lee fans, the cooler, all that good stuff. Fury Beast memory, all white. But the GPU, he has managed to have some white accents on it by using this Plastidip method. Disassembling the Founders Edition card, painting key components. This is the type of modification that was like so popular in the PC building community for themed or minimalist white builds. But here's what happens when you do stuff like this. This is like super important to remember. You will void the crap out of your warranty, like entirely. Done. That thing is gone. So you better have high confidence that you can pull this off without breaking something or bricking something. Now, as I was looking through the Reddit posts, a lot of people bringing this up. They're saying, why isn't NVIDIA focusing more on not just a bunch of color schemes, but maybe just adding a white color scheme to Founders Edition cards as an option? Obviously, that adds another SKU. And as we know, with white components, those can sometimes be hard to find to begin with. So I can certainly understand why they don't want to dabble in that. But after you see a card like this, it does make you wonder, is it time to add a white option for Founders cards? I mean, this thing looks clean. I love it. And I would imagine that if NVIDIA, in their infinite wisdom, decided to drop a white edition GPU at a slight price premium, I think it would sell out instantly. I think it would be a huge win. Personally, I'm hoping that this mod gets enough traction that somebody in NVIDIA headquarters goes, hey, maybe we should do that. And then naturally, as it goes with white components most of the time, they will charge more for it. So we'll take what we can get. Next up, a major repair shop issued a warning about the RTX 5090 Founders Edition, citing a fragile internal power connector. Now, water cooling your build, it's always risky, but apparently it's even scarier if you have a Founders card. Northridge Fix shared a video describing their experience trying to fix two water-blocked 5090 Founders cards, and boy, was it an experience. The Founders cards have a proprietary ribbon cable that can easily break during disassembly, and since you're water cooling, taking the card apart is a necessity. When they found out the cable was broken, the obvious solution was to just get a new one, if there were any to be had, that is. After what I'm sure was hours of searching to find this cable, they had no luck, so fixing the card was impossible, and it just made two very expensive bricks. You would think NVIDIA would have made these parts openly available since the Founders card editions are one of the only ones that you can get for MSRP, guaranteed, so they're often cheaper than other cards. Plus, they look cool as is. Would you risk it for the biscuit though? Let's dig into it. That's right. Northridge Fix, legendary YouTube channel. I'm sure you're already subscribed. Make sure you check them out. They have a lot of good content. Latest video, a teardown and repair attempt of the 5090 Founders Edition. And in that video, there are some very strong warnings about RTX 5090 Founders Edition users not opening or modifying their card. Now, that's sage advice in and of itself for a lot of people that maybe shouldn't be opening their cards and attempting GPU surgery, but especially in this case, I'm going to tell you why. So here's what happened. Two RTX 5090 25090 cards. They arrive for service after water block installations. One thing to note here is we water block a lot of cards for meta PCs for our water-cooled builds. They're never Founders Edition cards. They're almost always AIB. In fact, 100% of the time, AIB cards. If something goes wrong, you can easily revert to the stock cooler in most cases. So that kind of gives you some insulation from some of these problems that we're about to talk about. So 25090s arrive for service after water block installations. The board partner card recovered by, yep, you guessed it, reverting to a stock cooler. Founders Edition could not be fixed though, and here's why. So what happened is they identified a weak point in the internal connector that links to the main PCB to the power delivery board. Now that connector is prone to breaking and can cause shorts if the card experiences even slight flex or stress during installation. But the secondary issue and the main issue is replacement parts do not exist for this card. So you are quite literally out of luck when it comes to this, and you are stuck with a brick. Now, the fact that repair shops can't even get spare parts to fix a top tier GPU is a pretty big consumer issue. It forces people into buying a new card instead of fixing an expensive one that they've already purchased. Let me know what you think about this. Are you brave enough to crack open your Founders Edition card, or just leave it be like I've done? Here, let me know. Microsoft is making another run at virtual assistants, introducing Mico as the new all-powerful AI helper. Stop trying to make Copilot a thing. Microsoft just introduced another successor to Clippy. Cortana with a new skin is also known as Mico. Now, it's not really a reskin of Cortana because that thing died years ago. It's built right into Copilot's voice mode and supposedly even has facial expressions and emotions, which machines aren't supposed to have yet. The goal is to make a personal assistant that feels more human and less mechanical, but I don't trust it. It seems they think that the reason Cortana failed was that users couldn't connect with their AI assistant emotionally. But listen, I don't think that was the case. I think people just forgot it. It was there, and I don't know if Copilot will go any differently. It's a step in the right direction for all three Clippy fans, but dystopian step in the wrong direction for mankind. Are we in the prequel for Blade Runner? There's only one way to find out. Let's check it. That's right. First we had Clippy. We loved Clippy, kind of. I mean, he was near and dear to our hearts, but man, was he a pain in the ass. Then we had Cortana, kind of, and now we have Mico. Look at this thing. What are we even doing here? Now, for those of you that don't remember or just want to trip down memory lane, Clippy was a cool little assistant that would oftentimes get in your way and give you tips on how to use things like Microsoft Word or Excel, and oftentimes his tips weren't helpful at all. Well, now, guess what? Microsoft is trying again. This time you have Mico. It's built into Copilot's voice mode, and it is expressive rather than intrusive. At least that's what Microsoft's going for. So what does it do? It reacts to tone and context in real time, changes its color and its shape while displaying emotions during a conversation. Microsoft says that the goal is to make speaking to a computer feel less mechanical and more human, if that's even possible. So how does something like this end up being a win for Microsoft? Well, my humble opinion, just some random dude, is this. If you want to make it work, one, you should give people an option to use it or not. That's a given. Got to stop forcing stuff on people. Second, if people decide to use this new AI assistant, deep integration into Windows, so like context between productivity apps, if it could truly save me time and add some value, it may be of interest. But if it's just a better search bar, this thing's probably going to fail. And it is kind of smart that they dropped the Cortana branding because it carries so much baggage from just absolute hate from people. So maybe it's smart that they're doing this rebrand. My big question though, what if they brought back Clippy? Would that be such a bad thing? I'm going to be honest. I just want to see Clippy again. I miss him, man. At the end of the day, I mean, this is has nothing to do with gaming. This is all about productivity because you have every company that's trying to jump in and own your productivity workflow and get their fingers in there and just, they want a piece of the pie. And Mico just happens to be Microsoft's latest weapon. So let me know what you think. Here we go again. Microsoft has killed more AI assistants than I can count. So is Mico going to be genuinely useful? Not just a flashy AI wrapper? Well, let me know what you think in comments down below. And finally, GPU sag gets the legendary treatment as a Redditor used an ancient Nokia phone to prop up their enormous card. There's no excuse to have a saggy GPU. Now, over the years, we've seen literally everything from a Lego to a bullet holding up your precious video card. But what if it had function? What if you could get a call on it? That's right, this Redditor decided to use an old Nokia phone that he had laying around as a sag bracket. I guess he wanted it to have a cool ringtone and be indestructible at the same time. He just used it because it fit, but fitting is all that it needs to do. Sag brackets are just there to prop up your GPU to keep it from breaking over time due to the weight of itself. But playing games while your buddy plays Snake would be pretty cool. Let me know if you're using something cool as a sag bracket. Let's check this out. There it is, the indestructible Nokia phone. Anyone who is an older individual such as myself that can remember Nokia phones from back in the day knows that this is going nowhere. The rest of the build could burn to the ground, and this phone would be in perfect condition, probably ready to make a call or text or take the worst camera phone photo that you've ever seen. This probably doesn't even have a camera on it, let's be real. That's right, this Redditor shared a photo that showed this old Nokia phone strategically placed as a stand. Now, I just covered on the channel a while back, maybe a week or two ago, someone used a bullet as their anti-sag bracket. That's a choice. You have someone here in this photo that used a spent toilet paper roll as a anti-sag bracket. I mean, you can do anything. Lego seems to be the common one, though. You see a lot of sag brackets that are made out of Legos, mostly because it's so much easier to just slap on another layer and adjust the size of your sag bracket, and Lego is just perfect for that. Yep, this is on the PC Master Race subreddit, and you can see this Nokia 6124 Classic. The owner calls the build, and this is so accurate, he calls it post-nuclear. The phone fits under the shroud as if it were designed for the job, and the comments on this thing went wild. People were like, yep, this will last forever. This will outlast the GPU, hands down. I love the meme energy here. This is freaking awesome. I mean, this Nokia phone is being trusted to hold up a multi-$1,000 GPU. And this is, case in point, legendary durability meets modern tech. What could be better? And the aesthetics of it, stunning. This also kind of subtly makes fun of how massive modern day GPUs have become, where we're using just anything to keep it from snapping, like just holding that card up so that we don't have that cringy sag going on. So what do? I mean, if you're in this position and you have a little bit of sag going on in your GPU, do you get a sag bracket? No, you don't. I'm going to make the case right here and right now. No more spending money on anti-sag brackets. Just go through your junk drawer. A Lego, an old hard drive, even a classic phone will do the trick. Let me know the wildest thing you've seen in the wild being used as an anti-sag bracket in the comments down below. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you're subscribed. You throw the like button on there. And it's been a while since I've done this. What GPU are you running in your system right now? I always like to get a good poll and see what everybody's using in their builds at home. Let me know in the comments, and as always, we will see you next time.